Right. So to talk about more about how drama industry is creating an impact, we have a wonderful guest in our studio who happens to be Sheryar Ali. He is also an actor and also filmmaker, and he has very humble personality because he has bagged 3 gold medals, and he specifically asked me not to talk about it. And I said, why? It's a big achievement, and his mother was also supporting me when it comes to that. And not just that, he has also bagged the first place in the fiction category in a film called Safarnama, and that was a contest that was displayed by the ISPR, and he participated in that. So we want to welcome Sheryar. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you so much for coming to our show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
Okay, so you want to talk about Safarnama. What was the film about, and did you directed it, or were you an actor in that? Please, tell us about the journey.
I didn't direct Safarnama. I acted in it. It was directed by Amir Khan Milazai. He's a very nice senior of mine.
Okay.
And he trusted me with the performance, and I'm grateful that he did.
Right. And what did you play? What was the film about?
Well, the film was about breaking the stereotypes that are often, about the Balochistan side of Pakistan. People don't usually, they're a little skeptical to visit that side because they've heard things. Right? So this was about breaking those stereotypes. It's about 2 guys, they go on a road trip and they explore Balochistan because they have to go for a work trip, but then it turns into a more a finding themselves journey.
Okay.
Yeah. Indeed, lots of scenic places over there in Balochistan.
It is so beautiful.
You went over there for the filming of that particular Safarnama, right?
Yeah. We stayed in Quetta and we traveled around and we were mostly in Quetta, but the whole route we took a very long journey because we were stopping and shooting in the middle. But it was so beautiful, and everyone was so hospitable.
So what's that unique thing that you experienced over there in Balochistan during your stay there?
I loved the food so much. It was just absolutely amazing. I would just eat rosh every day.
What is the signature dish from that area?
Rosh, landhi. I had the best time. I ended up putting on some weight.
One unique thing about Balochistan is, Jawad, that the food, that they roast over there, the goats or the animals, they are fed actually on the herbs which are there. It's not an artificial sort of a food, which is put in front of them, just for the sake of the commercial purposes. So the food is really healthy and really good, and it has a lot of, so herb has a lot of medicinal value, and especially when the animal is eating that, so that sort of medicinal values goes into that animal. So the meat is really good when it comes to that,
so,
right?
When we talk about coming back to that point, the Safarnama, has it already been launched, or is it in the process of completely making?
It's been launched. It was a submission in ISPR's festival in NASF, National Amateur Film Festival, and it won first place in fiction over there, and that was a huge honor for us. And then it was uploaded on YouTube, and people really enjoyed it. They loved it.
Right, and not just that, so there's also drama, which featured on the PTV Home on 11th of August, right?
Yes.
So you want to talk about it, you were an actor there, or you were a director there, what sort of the role you had, and whatever you experienced when it comes to that.
I acted and I played the lead, which was surprising for me.
Okay, why is that so?
That's quite an honor.
It is, it's a huge honor, and to play for PTV.
That's true.
And
So what was the story about it? Can you tell us
a bit about it? Is it a serial or?
It's a telefilm.
Okay.
It's a telefilm. It aired on the 11th, and it's basically it's about this young guy who's a singer, and he's just your average, not a care in the world. I mean, he has some cares in the world. He's a philanthropist as well, and he wants to write. He wants to write something for his country, but he can't find the lyrics. And then his grandfather, he tells him about what happened during partition and his story, and he gets inspiration from that, and the grandfather even gives him the lyrics, something that he wrote, and it ends up uniting his family with another family, long lost. So it's a really wholesome story.
It's a theme that goes with the Independence Day also, right? So talking about the drama industry of Pakistan, so do you think especially in terms of production, we have improved when it comes to that, right? Especially when you compare it with the golden age of the Pakistan's drama industry, where do you place the values of the art dramas now, especially when you compare them with the golden age of Pakistan television's dramas when it comes to that. So what are the big problems and do you think are there in the drama industry?
I'm trying to get work in dramas, so
Okay.
I don't know what to say. But no, I'm going to be honest. We do lack in a lot of places, and there is a lot of places where we can improve. I think the first and foremost for any media form is the writing. The writing is it's the meat and bones of the production, and as if your writing isn't strong, so no matter how strong your production is, your camera is, all of those things they're important, they're equally important, but they do come in secondary when it comes to writing. If your story has the power, then
the content does matter.
Exactly.
The script does matter. If you've got very strong script, so it does have an impact.
And there's a lot of criticism which is leveled onto the Pakistan's drama industry is that the scripts are not coming, they're not produced in very high quality, and they're not instilling the sort of the values that we are talking about, Pakistani values. So there's a lot of bichari aurat syndrome in our dramas which is there. And so I used to watch a lot of dramas, but I have stopped watching it because I do feel that a lot of dramas are playing into one stereotype sort of a script which is repeated again and again, and the bandwagon effect which is very much present into our drama industry.
I think it also comes from right from the childhood. You've got to think on different lines. If you've got a different sort of a perspective about different issues, so you can actually come up with new and innovative ideas, and you can give them even the very topic that you just mentioned. You can talk about in 100 different ways. So I think innovation that should be coming and thinking out of the box. That's very important.
It's not just that we have a dearth of the good script writing here. It's just, I think that the big giants of the channels, they are not willing to take that sort of a risk, because they feel that our audience like to watch such kind of things. And then they talk about the rating system, and I really wanted to talk about the rating system, and I want to deconstruct this concept of the rating system. Why is that so? Because when you talk about the PTV's golden age of the drama industry, you will see that those dramas were very much highly rated, so much so that our parents tell us that the roads used to get all clear because there was no one outside, and especially all of were jumbled in front of the screen to watch those dramas. But that impact has not been created in the modern day drama industry.
One very important, at that time there used to be only PTV, a sole single screen, and everybody was looking forward to that only screen. Now we've got dozens of different drama channels, so there's a lot of stuff that is coming in. So I think the more the quantity, the quality is compromised as well. At the same time.
That's true. And also, Jawad, there are a lot of streaming platforms, right? Especially the Netflix have propped up, and other platforms that have propped up, and that has definitely changing the landscape of the drama industry when it comes to that. So I would like to throw this question to my guest. So what do you think about the streaming platforms when it comes to that? How is it affecting or impacting our current drama industry when it comes to that?
Well, I would want to say first of all that I don't necessarily think that increasing quantity should mean a decrease in quality. We can have, there are so many niches, we can create content for everyone, because there are so many different kinds of viewers of different kind of genres, and that is one of the good thing about streaming platforms. I mean, Netflix and all these are the giants, and we don't really have very easy access to these platforms, but there are smaller platforms like recently Pictures TV, they made a web series, and I had I know some people who worked in it, and we consume such content, but we don't consume such content locally because it's not produced locally. We would watch the same thing, but it's made by people in some other country, but we don't give our people the same opportunity to make those things because we're not ready to accept
is it
a lot
because
of the
rapidly changing dynamics of the motion pictures industry around the world, and Pakistani industry not keeping a pace with that?
Yeah, because I think evolution
especially
is important.
when it comes to the equipment in particular.
Equipment as well, and skilled, improving on your skills, and like especially again, I know I'm mentioning this over and over again, but writing. I feel like that's really important. Our whole industry is very fast paced. You write a script and you write it like this. It needs to be done in like a very short amount of time, but it's a time-taking thing. You should. I feel like more than production, time should be spent on pre-production to like perfect what you're gonna make. And then once you have that ready, then once you go into production,
it's basically the mixture and the congregation of lots of elements. Once you've got the good writing and you don't have that kind of visualization, you don't have those performers, and you don't have that equipment, the good writing doesn't serve.
Of course, these all go hand in hand. It's like a giant machine. Every little screw and bolt is important for the machine to function. If sound is important, your camera is important, each and every aspect of your film or your drama or whatever you're making, when it gels in together, then it makes a beautiful piece of work.
Synchronization, when we talk about ancient Greece, the time of Sophocles, when we talk about Oedipus Rex, everything was so synchronized, the chorus coming in, the script was so perfect, whatever was being said by the performer.
And we still read it today, right?
Exactly.
It has been so many centuries.
And there were messages in those theaters. So the drama or the film that actually originates from there in order to highlight the pressing issues in the society.
Right, and especially, I wanted to talk about it. So I wanted to talk about your support system. So, artists are usually, especially, if you do not have good connections within the industry, they're struggling when it comes to that, right? And, especially when it comes to the economic things, so parents are like, beta, aisi job karo, jisse paise achhe mile tumhe, right? So they are worried about your economic prospects when it comes to that. So how supportive were your parents when it comes to you venturing into this field, because artists certainly do struggle?
I guess there are a lot of and besides economic dividends, there are a lot of dividends. You appear on the screen, you become celebrity as well. I mean, there are a lot of dividends. How can you say there are not economic dividends associated with the drama industry?
I mean,
on a lighter note,
right?
I mean, are there good economic dividends at the end of the day?
Initially, there aren't. In the beginning, there's it's a huge risk.
Struggle,
it's a huge risk. It's a huge gamble that you're doing with your life. And my parents, alhamdulillah, they're very supportive. They support me throughout like the entire way. Shuru mein they were a little skeptical. They were like, "Kaise karoge? Kya hai? What are you gonna do?" But like, initially I was also like, "Achha, theek hai, kuch nahi karta." But then, I was like, "Nahi, man, yahi karna hai." And then once, I convinced them. I would secretly make little films and short films in the back and then show them, and once they were convinced, okay, he has the passion for it, he's doing it, then they became my biggest supporters and my biggest pushers. Even when I don't want to do something, they're going to be like, nahi abhi karo.
Right. Okay, that's wonderful. So, we wanted to you to give out the message to all of the young people out there, who are struggling when it comes to their art. So what is your message for them? How would you tell them to, recuperate with all of their passion, what is there, but, sometimes it does not pay when it comes to, their artistic value when it comes to that. So what is your message? Here's your camera, please. Go ahead.
This is going to sound like a huge cliche, but art has to come from within. That's what I feel. Make something when you truly feel strongly about it, then you should make something, and take breaks, take it easy. I mean, who am I to say? I'm still figuring it out, just like all of you. But yeah, take breaks, take it easy. But when the time comes to do the work, do the work.
Right. And